Man, oh man. Today's show is going to be something completely different than what we're usually used to. There's been a lot of crazy things going around the world lately. You know, you always hear about these mass shootings. You always hear about these serial killings. You always hear about mothers killing their kids. And you know, they're always able to live a normal life, go to school, be a wife, go to college, you know, up until that point that they decided to carry out this heinous crime. And then they always blame it on mental illness. Something is wrong with this individual. You know, they're mentally retarded, or, you know, something is severely wrong with them mentally. However, they never look at it in a perspective where perhaps this individual is just one cold, calculated killer. And me personally, having contacted dozens and dozens of murderers, I've got to know how cold a human being can really be, how manipulative, how smart, how charming, how charismatic, how they could portray themselves a certain way and fool an average person. A lot of these people are very smart, and unfortunately a lot of people are evil. And I think such is the case for Mr. 18-year-old Mr. Payton Gendron. You know, he's being charged with 10 murders. You know, he did a serial killing out there in a top supermarket in Buffalo, New York. However, this individual right here is one of the smartest dudes to ever carry out some type of crime like this. Unfortunately, me myself, I have seen the video, and I will tell you exactly my perspective of that video. It's very sickening. I encourage you not to watch it, and if you do, the images will be forever ingrained in your mind forever. So don't watch it, man. With that being said, man, Mr. Payton Gendron, he wrote a 180-page manifesto, you know, basically breaking down detail by detail, months in advance. I'm talking detail by detail, everything he was going to do. I'm going to read you a part of his manifesto as well. They say that he followed in the footsteps of the New Zealand killer. You know, he killed dozens of people out there. He went as far as writing a bunch of names on his gun. That is the exact same thing that Mr. Payton Gendron did as well. He even commented on the video saying that after watching the New Zealand killer, that he was motivated, that was the day he knew that he was going to take it one step further. He also commented on another post, said that, man, I've been fantasizing, I've been doing this for years, and every day that passes by, it seems that it's getting more real. He even went as far as to write some of these mass shooters' names on his gun. Payton Gendron wrote serial mass shooters on his gun. He also had a victim. Her name is Virginia Sorensen. Virginia Sorensen was a woman that was killed during a rally. You know, allegedly it was retaliation for the BLM movement, because so many crazy things were going on. I can't tell you the specifics, but she was a victim for that movement, allegedly. So he even had her name on that gun. So there was also some derogatory words intended for African Americans as well on that gun. You know, before I tell you exactly what the video was like, I need you to take it back and for you to get a brief understanding how these videos started. From my understanding, these nasty, crazy videos, man, they started way back in the early 2000s, maybe the late 1990s, and something called Faces of Death. Faces of Death, man, there were these sick videos, man, of basically people just dying. I don't know how people would get their hands on it, but they created a series called Faces of Death. And there was another software, I'm pretty sure most of you know of it, called LimeWire. LimeWire was a software that you were basically able to download music, download videos, and burn CDs. And, you know, basically that software also had a lot of crazy videos, man. And people would post videos of people's killings. I remember there was one specific video. I don't know if it was an Iraqi soldier, but that's what they titled it. It was a U.S. soldier on the ground, and there was some guy from Afghanistan, somewhere off on that side of the country. You can tell right away. And basically, this guy just grabs a knife, and yeah, man, he sticks it in him, and it's a very gruesome video. However, that video went viral. Apart from that, man, I think what took things another step further in these gruesome, nasty videos is El Blog del Narco. El Blog del Narco was another site where people basically, man, they do the most gruesome things, and most of them are cartel killings, man, but they're literally sitting there interrogating the individual, you know, breaking them down, and basically they do the most heinous thing, whether it's decapitate them, bury them. It's sick. But people literally idolize these people out there, and they watch these videos, and these videos go viral. Now this individual right here, Mr. Payton Gendron, I feel like he wanted to follow in the steps. He wanted that glorification. He wanted everybody to know that he was that man. He allegedly considered himself a white supremacist. You know, he had this hatred towards immigration. He had this hatred towards Jews. He had hatred towards, you know, black people. Those were the 10 people that he targeted. You know, real quick, the irony in that was, you know, he claims to be a white supremacist. However, when he pulled up, he shot a white lady first. So that makes no sense. You totally contradict yourself in that aspect right there, my friend. You're not my friend. With that being said, the video, man, I encourage you guys not to watch it. It's basically, it's one of the most sickening things that I've ever came across. It gave me chills. It's giving me goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I do not feel safe personally going anywhere public anymore. I was just at the Lovers and Friends Festival in Saturday in Las Vegas, man. I was having one hell of a time. I literally left for 30 minutes to the hotel because I just needed a breather, man. It's an all-day event. And literally when we left, we got an emergency notice that basically, man, that there were shots in the surrounding environment or at the concert, and people were literally evacuating, man. People were running out of the concert. So it just goes to show, man, especially after the Las Vegas incident that happened a few years ago, man, that anything can happen, man. These are crazy times in a crazy world. Basically, man, the video, you know, you see this individual basically saying, man, you just got to do it. He pulls up to the store. There's like 3 people right there. Ah, man. He shoots one white lady first. The lady falls face first. You know, there's people on the wall. He shoots them. He runs up in the store. There's people at the cashier. There's people right there, and he takes them out too. You know what? I do have to give it to. I do not know his name, and I really regret not knowing his name right now because I wish I would have looked it up. It's a security guard. The security guard allegedly, man, he exchanged gunfire with the suspect. You know, he actually shot him. He actually shot the mass shooter. However, Payton Gendron actually, there was no damage made to him because he was wearing a safety vest. So that's what saved him. And eventually, Mr. Payton, you know, he shot him and ended up killing the security guard as well. You know, and what's even more crazy about the situation is that there's been warning signs, man. This individual actually threatened to shoot up a school before. And even though he made those threats, however, he was still able to find the means and the tools to attain a gun legally. He was literally able to go to a gun store and purchase a gun legally, passing all backgrounds like nothing, despite having made those threats literally not even 2 years ago. So I think right there is a flaw in the system. The system is broken. You know, what do you have to do in order to mark yourself on a red flag where you don't have to do this? I mean, that was the warning sign right there. He threatened to shoot up a school. Not just anybody's going to say that. On top of that, he had a mental health evaluation. He went in there for maybe like 15-20 minutes. He even boasted. He even bragged about, hey, you know what? Damn, I was out here sitting in the lobby for hours, and the evaluation only took 10-15 minutes. Now I'm out. See, that's an individual who's smart, who knows he's playing the system, who knows that he literally slipped through the cracks. Now, on another note, you know, another thing that's pretty crazy is, another thing that doesn't make sense is the family. The family is trying to lean towards an excuse, and they're using COVID, the coronavirus, basically saying that, you know, basically him being away from human contact, him being isolated for all those months, that caused him to have some type of lizard brain that triggers some type of aggression in his brain. So not only did their parents say that, but their cousin, the mother's sister also said that as well. So that just goes to show that perhaps they already communicated and they chose a certain excuse that they were going to run with. They said, okay, you know what, we're going to go ahead, blame it on COVID. So if any of you guys talk to the media, that's what we're going to run with. Of course, there's going to be a lot of backup throughout the United States that are going to back that up. And to me, man, personally, I think that's a sorry excuse. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. You can't blame something like this on that. And I will tell you why. The 180-page manifesto. Nobody has taken the time to do a manifesto the way this man has. I'm going to read a few pages of his manifesto to you guys, and you guys be the judge. and draw your own conclusion. And let me know what you guys think, because as far as I'm concerned, my perspective and encountering and reading this information, man, I think he's one hell of a smart individual, a lot smarter than me. He could write a lot better than me. He can portray certain perspectives, and I'm literally reading it. I'm like, wow, this guy is no dummy. So let me go ahead and read it to you. Now I got 3 pieces of that manifesto: why he chose to do it, the way he planned out to carry out his attack that day, and why he chose a certain weapon. So we're going to go ahead and read all 3 of them, and you will draw your own conclusion on how smart and how calculative this individual really was. You know, he even stated himself that he considered himself to be 100% sane. It's just this individual's evil. There's a lot of evil people out there, man, and you know, and some people just carry out their evil fantasies, and this individual did that. He wanted to do it, and he did it. So here we go. Let me go ahead and read this real quick. The plan of action. At home, I will pick up all my gear and put it in an industrial trash bag. Then I will put this bag in a laundry basket and place it on the floor in front of the passenger seat. I will put the 3 guns, 2 of them have carriers, behind my seat with the blanket over them to cover them from outsiders. I will also have a Discord running in my house, running a live recording of my Twitch account. I will eat a large portion of corn hash beef for breakfast. I will leave my house at 7:30 a.m. and travel to Buffalo in regular clothing. It should arrive just before 12 p.m. At 12 p.m. I will go inside the store for the second to last time and make sure everything is going as expected. I will follow my planned course of action and make sure I know exactly where to go between 12 and 2:45 p.m. I will also go to McDonald's to eat some food. At 3:30 p.m. I will park in the designated gear up spot off Sherman Street and fully gear up. I will take my 3 guns out of the carriers and put them in the passenger seat in front of my car. I chamber the shotgun and add another in the magazine tube and do the same thing at the Savage Axis. Both of these guns will have the safety engaged. I may change the location and gear up if I determine it is too risky. At 3:50, I will publish my 8chan post on 8chan, MO, 4chan post, link to 8chan post, and send links to the Discord servers I'm in, and send links to all people on my Discord friend list. After I'm done posting, I will take the XM15 and properly wear the sling and place the gun to the left of my legs. I inserted the couple magazines, chamber around with the M855 mag, and make sure the gun is on the safe. At 3:55, I start the live stream and make out Sherman Street. I will take a right on High Street, take a right on Johnson Street, make it across the Best Street on Woolhurst Avenue, and park on the side of the road just before Riley Street. At 3:57, I will check my Discord and check the camera to make sure the live stream is working. At 3:58, I take a left on Riley Street. I then take a left into the top parking lot and dispense the safety on the XM15. At 4 o'clock p.m. I park in front of the store. Man, as you can see, this individual plotted it out, thought about it, fantasized about it. He broke down step by step by step. Someone in the middle of nowhere, in a room, somewhere out there in the country, out there in the boondocks, are sitting there fantasizing about this. This person is evil by his choice of words, the way he's able to express himself, the way he's able to paint the perspective is literally a lot better than 90% of the population that I've ever encountered. 100%. He knew exactly what he was doing. Let me go ahead and read another one. The weapon. Of course, the weapon. Of course, how is it expected to kill another human being without a weapon? I will be using firearms as my primary weapon for the attack. Why? Because they work. There are very few weapons that are easier to use, accessible, and as effective at killing than firearms. The weapons I will be using in the attack are a Bushmaster XM15 Mossberg 500 and a Savage Axis XP. This is my Bushmaster XM15. That's right, I used the dreaded military grade assault rifle 15 as my main firearm for this attack. This gun was most likely used between 1994 and 2004 when the federal assault weapons ban was still in action. I bought it from a place in the called Vintage Firearms since I lived in New York and I had to buy a cooked version of this before illegally modifying it. The person who had this before me installed a Mean Arms magazine lock which faced a 10-round magazine to the gun, as seen in the 2 photos. And he even has the photo of his gun right here. I cannot post it to you. I can't show it to you due to YouTube purposes. Now, another warning sign that people happen to miss was he did a school report, and basically one of the topics that he chose was murder-suicides. And that triggered state police to actually contact this individual and give him another health evaluation. That was strike 2. Those were 2 warning signs. Not to mention the other warning signs that we don't know about. His own, people in the surrounding environment stated that he was smarter than the average person, that he was diving into deeper parts of the internet. He was able to navigate certain software that the average person would not know how to. But what really blows me away is the whole COVID thing. That just gives you a slight perspective on where their family's mindset is at, where they're planning to go with this. And that's kind of scary. That's kind of ludicrous. That's scary when you think about it. When you really think about it. Another thing that's pretty crazy is basically his dad basically bought him one of the weapons that he used during this assault for Christmas. Another thing that's pretty crazy is he actually planned to go to another store. He got away from this killing, from killing 10 people right there, he was going to go to another store. Those were his plans. Another thing that's pretty crazy is he literally drew out maps. He drew out maps, how to get away, what aisles to take, where people would go run to hide. Literally step by step. Again, ladies and gentlemen, these facts are out there. This is just something for you to think about, of how cold, how evil people can really become. And I hate when people say that mental illness, people are mentally sick. No, some people are 100% normal. Some people are 100% sane. They're just evil. They have certain beliefs, and they will carry out those beliefs. People will kill people, and that's been proven time and time again. It's getting crazier in this world, man, and it's not getting any safer. And I'm worried. I worry for my kids. What kind of crazy ass world that they're gonna grow up into. Again, my perspective is that this person is one cold, calculated killer. He explained to himself he wanted that notoriety, and that's what he did. Now we're gonna go ahead and read the reason why he chose to do this. Why allegedly he was motivated. In his own words, he writes, "Was there a particular reason or event that you decided to commit this violent attack?" He responds to his own question. Again, before I begin, I will say that I was not born racist, nor I grew up to be racist. I simply became racist after I learned the truth. I started browsing 4chan in May 2020 after extreme boredom. Remember, this was during the outbreak of COVID. I would normally browse because I am a gun nut and because I love the outdoors, and eventually wound up on POL that I learned through infographics, shitposts, and memes that the white race is dying out. The blacks are disproportionately killing whites, and the average blacks take $700,000 from taxpayers in their lifetime, and that the Jews and the elite were behind this. From there, I also found other sites like World Truth Video's website, dailyarchives.org, and dailystormer.cn, where through data and exposure to real information, I learned the truth. We are doomed by low birth rates and high rates of immigration. I never saw this information until I found these sites. Since mostly I would get my news from the front page of Reddit, I didn't care at the time. But as I learned more and more, I realized how serious the situation was. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I told myself that eventually I was going to kill myself and escape my fate. My race was doomed and there was nothing I could do about it. But then after browsing, one day I saw a short gift of a man walk into a building, and as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's a stupid reason. It's a very stupid reason. He's just racist. He's just one cold-blooded, calculated killer. Man, however he chose to write this, he wanted that attention. Man, this person plotted this thing out for years. He started making posts months in advance, and yet people didn't take it serious. He slipped through the cracks. He even went to the store, and the security guard confronted him. Like, hey man, what are you doing here? I'm just gathering consensus data. Months ago, he even stated that he was going to do this on March 15th, and then he just postponed it and postponed it. There were several dates that he just kept getting posted back. So he had the time to think. He had the time to back out, which he did. However, he wanted this so bad that he did it. So, the truth is, he's not mentally ill. He is 100% sane. He is a lot smarter than the average population out there. He just did it. He just did what he wanted to do. He's evil. Give him the death penalty. Thank you for stopping by. Those were just my perspectives.